Hey, good morning YouTube. It's Jonny Jetpack here. I'm on my way to work. It's about 8:53 in the morning on a Saturday, and I'm off to sell more cars. Yes, I am a car salesman. How did I end up as a car salesman? Well, how the hell do I know? So what I wanted to talk about today is how I learned to ride a motorcycle. When I was a kid, my dad was in the Navy. We moved all over the world until I was about 10 years old. That was 1979. He got out of the Navy and we moved back to, of all places, freaking Utah. We moved here mostly in part because my dad's from here, from a little tiny town in southern Utah called Delta. But we ended up moving back here to Salt Lake, and a bunch of my cousins live here. Thing about it was, all of my cousins were a lot older than me. In fact, a lot of my cousins were older than my dad because he was the youngest in his family. So really it was my cousins' kids that I ended up playing with. So some of these cousins, I guess you'd call them third cousins because they're really my cousins' kids, lived out here in a Salt Lake suburb called Riverton, which at the time was really in the middle of nowhere. It was really just their neighborhood and a whole lot of farms and nothing for miles all around. But at the time their house was right on the end of their street, and they didn't have a fence or anything around it. And so those couple of summers after we moved to Utah, I'd go and stay over at their place quite a bit. And they had a few motorcycles. These were the one that I got to ride was a mid-70s Yamaha FZ6 R1 two-stroker. I'd ridden a couple of times before, like little scooter. My other uncle had a moped, a tote goat. He'd take up camping and hunting, and we'd ride those around the hills. But I learned how to ride a real motorcycle out at my cousin's house. What they do is, since there wasn't a fence around the house, they'd ride round and around and around the house, just right turns all the way, round and around, making laps. And so they taught me how to let out the clutch slowly and get going. And so I got going in first gear and started going round and around and around, and made it around about 3 times, and I'd come around from the side of the house and get pointed towards the driveway, and whoops, suddenly there's a car parked there. Somebody had pulled up while I was around back of the house, and well, guess what? They didn't tell me how to work the brakes, so kabam, right into the driver's side door. And the driver was a teenage kid, and it was an old station wagon. Looked at me and stuck his head out the windows. The windows were rolled down, and looked down at the door and just started laughing. All my cousins were rolling on the ground like it was the most hilarious thing they'd ever seen, and I'm sure it was. So that was my first episode with a motorcycle, and my cousins, my third cousin's parents, my actual cousins, wanted to sell it to me, that YZ125, for a couple $100, and I really wanted it, but at the time, I don't remember why, but for whatever reason my parents didn't want to let me do it. So whenever we went out riding, I'd just borrow that YZ125. That bike was always available. My cousins tended to like the little bigger bikes, and I was a really skinny little kid, so that 125 was perfect for me. So yeah, heading into work right now on a Saturday. And if you're familiar at all with the car business, you know that Saturdays are mandatory because it's, you know, quote, quote, the biggest day of the week. Most people come out looking at cars. I've got some dude that called up yesterday looking at this old Nissan Sentra. I think it's about $8 grand. And he's all approved at his credit union and everything, and he wants to come take a look at it. And as of right now, I'm late. It's 9 o'clock. It's probably going to take me another 10 minutes to get over there and get in the door and take my Power Rangers outfit off. So yeah, this bike I'm riding, I'll do another video and do a walk around and tell you all about the upgrades and stuff I've done on it. But it's one of those things where it was a garage ornament. I got it out of some guy's garage with 300 miles. It's a 2007 Yamaha FZ6, which now makes it like an 8-year-old bike, but I just barely turned over like 1,300 miles. So I got a steal of a deal. Brand new. These things ran, I think, like right around $7 grand, something like that. I picked it up for $3 grand. Brand spanking new. I did its first oil change right when I got it home with 300 miles on it. And when I got it, I had all the fairings and everything on it. It wasn't a naked bike to begin with, but over the last few months I pulled all the fairings off, put this monster headlight on the front, which I really like. It's like a dirt bike headlight. It looks pretty cool, I think. Like I said, I'll do another video, walk all around it. I've got these little lane splitter mirrors on, but I've got some other ones on order. I don't really like these. I think probably better for me to be able to see in my mirrors without having to turn my head completely. So those are on their way from Hong Kong. They should be here in the next week or so. I'll get them switched out. Then I've got the little levers and some pinstripes, all kinds of fun stuff. So where I sell cars is a Subaru dealer, and here in Utah, well, let me just say that the Subaru Outback is the #1 registered car in Salt Lake County. There's more of them than any other make and model. It's kind of like Ford F-150 in the Midwest, but yeah, lots of ski resorts and stuff here, so people like the Outbacks, the Subarus, because they're so good in the snow. Not that we really had much snow this year, but I mean, it's mid-April right now, and I'm riding my motorcycle to work. Oh, nice gear shift, dude. I've only really had my license for maybe a year and a half. I rode dirt bikes, like I said, a lot when I was a kid, but didn't really do anything and for a long time. Not since way back in the 80s. Maybe rode once in a while here and there if some friends or family had a motorbike, but then like a year and a half ago, my now father-in-law got this Harley Sportster. I think it's a 2006 or something like that. Bought this Sportster and rode it a couple of times, and then kind of dumped it off in our garage and left it there. And I thought, well, I think I'll go get a learner's permit. So picked up my learner's permit, went and did the test, and rode that around a few times, but it's really runs rough, and it's got these super loud pipes on it, so I mean, even like a short ride just rattles your teeth. You come back exhausted. So then I got this last summer and went in and took the riding test to get my legit permit, and now it's like I can't get enough of it, like ride as often as possible. Got these new boots on, and I don't feel the shifter very well, so I miss a lot of shifts. If I look like a rank amateur, well, I probably am, but it's all good. They look nice enough to wear at work and not have to switch out my shoes when I get there. So it's coming up here just over on the left. I'm almost there. I probably shouldn't go 60 down State Street. Some cop will make my Saturday morning real fun. Alright, YouTube, I'm gonna sign off here in a minute. I'm gonna get back to you real soon, start doing a bunch of these videos, because, you know, I think I've had a pretty interesting life.